Like that.
All right, there we are. All rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this meeting of the June 24th, 2025 Board of Selectmen is now called to order. It is 6 o'clock. Roll call, Mary Smith. Here. Rob Connell.
Here.
Amanda Cooper.
Here.
Alex Sassoon.
Yeah.
Wayne Kaczynski.
Here.
Mary Smith, you're on there twice because you're
Because
very
I'm your pro
important.
tem and then.
That's right. And Rich Barrows. That's the.
Here.
Thank you. We have one change to the agenda, which Dennis had noted in his Friday email, item number 4. The first reading of ordinance number 2 to the BPC. We're going to table that in order to give the BPC an opportunity to look at and review. Any other changes or comments on the agenda?
Are we adding our road bridge report, or is that, you're here for that?
That'll be it. At the end.
The number's not on here.
It's under the city administrators.
Yeah, it'll be county administrators. Any other comments on the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended June 24th, 2025.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. The agenda is approved as amended. Audience business. We have a member in the audience, and audience members have 3 minutes to present any matter of interest not already on the agenda. Letters will be acknowledged but will not be read aloud. So, sir, I know you're here. Yes, and you are.
Stand up or?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And introduce yourself.
Down, you are. I'm Jim Blueyman. I live at 901 3rd Street. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that location, it's actually the top of Spring Street. It's the only house on the west side of the street. FedEx and UPS always get screwed up because they Google Earth it and wind up over by the Camel House. But I'm here because of the email you sent out to the residents about making 6th Street one way. You never mentioned one word about posting a no left-hand turn sign at Brownell and 6th. And for those of us who are who live on that side of the street, or side of town, we now have to go all the way around the post office to exit town. Also, all the people coming down from the train, which I assume the promotions committee that was behind this thing wanted everybody to come down 6th Street. I think it's really ridiculous to force people to come down through town with the train when, as at 5 o'clock, people that I followed down here, there's really nothing open in town anyhow. The other thing that happens, just on my observation from living up there, only about 50% of the cars actually come into town. The other 50% make a left-hand turn right there, either ignoring the sign and not seeing it because it's back in the lilac bushes. And, you know, if that's the case, I mean, are we gonna have the sheriff's office writing tickets for people that make the left-hand turn there? That isn't gonna be very good for the town. The other thing I observed is that another chunk of cars, when they hit Argentine, that's where they make the left-hand turn. They wind up down in 7th and Argentine. It's a bridge, which is a terrible intersection if there's a car already there. You can't make a right-hand turn off of 7th because of the railing on the bridge. You can't make a left-hand turn, you know, on the 7th if there was another car sitting there. And then the third thing, they'll come up to Rose Street And what happens in the summer or the paving season, when, you know, you got people coming off the pass. And people wanting to get out of town, so when they left hand turn at Rose Street, we'll wind up with a parade on Rose Street. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you want to experiment with one way here, which the town looked into years and years ago and decided it was a bad idea, that's fine. But that sign, when no left hand turn at Brown L, is terrible. It really has to go.
Thank you. Does anyone want to respond?
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
thank you
coming.
very much.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thanks for taking the time to come.
No problem.
All right, well, that concludes our audience business unless there's anyone else in the audience.
Did you check, is there anyone online?
Sorry?
Is there anyone online? I can't. No one online is indicating the next.
Thank you. We have a payables report dated June 6th to June 19, 2025 to approve any comments or changes on that.
There's a couple of cell phones attributed to the police department. Is that accurate account assignments?
Yes, and we are pursuing refund on those and cancellation of those flags.
Any other comments? Changes, corrections? Do I have a motion to approve the payables?
I'll make a motion to approve the payables from 6/6/2025 to 6/19/2000.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. The payables are passed as presented. The next agenda item is the minutes approval from our meeting of June 10. Any corrections or changes to the minutes?
I have a lot of corrections and changes, and I'm also wondering if we are, and I understand the circumstances as to why we're having it was AI generated.
Yeah.
But is this the format that we want to have recorded as our minutes? And obviously, no one has gone through these to make any preliminary changes from staff. So is this what we're gonna be handed off for the next several weeks?
No, ma'am, obviously the AI generated minutes don't work, so we're gonna go back to the way we usually do those, which is transcribing them from the video.
So can we table the minutes so we can get this
Absolutely.
cleaned up? Thank you.
And I did send out a response with your inquiry today. I hope that that was sufficient. We don't anticipate Bridget being more gone out of the office more than 4 weeks for recovery, and she will be back doing the minutes. And also present to answer questions. If you have those, we can respond to those more accurately then.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do I have a motion to table the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion, Rich.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes will be tabled until they are not AI generated and we get a transcript from the audio. Thank you. Okay, so the first action item is a request for exemption from the development moratorium. Dennis, did you want to talk about that? Asia will. Great, Asia, thank you.
Yes, so, we passed the moratorium and, actually about a week prior to that, Rick Riddell had submitted his design review application for a new home on Big Drive. And so when you asked me if there were any in progress, it totally slipped my mind. It fully was in progress, he paid. So we feel that he is the only one at this time, since he was in progress of working on his home, that it would be appropriate to exempt him from the moratorium.
Makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I thought the moratorium was gonna gear to like
ginormous developments only get the water, so you know.
It does exempt anyone.
Yeah, no, I know we have to be rigid on the language, but.
And I did speak with our public works director, Ryan, about whether or not that would put our water system in jeopardy, and he feels that it would not.
Exactly. Very good. So any questions on this? Comments? Would someone like to make the motion as it's put forth on this action item number 1 agenda?
I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
It's gonna be my neighbor. I move to exempt Mr. Riddell's new residential home on Meadows Block 6, Lot 2F4 from the development moratorium. Mr. Riddell shall not be exempt from any future lease schedule changes. I'll second that.
All those in- Yes, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Yes. No, he's the one right next to.
Okay, the next action item is the Lake Use IGA with Clear Creek Fire Authority. Got it.
Well, it's actually, this is a true team effort tonight. Chief's here to talk about the authority's interest in this. Brian representing the water system, of course. Jerry was the one that wrote it. Asia was the one that coordinated it, and I was kind of the one that started it just by having a sentence to say to the chief, and I did his bidding on this one, so. If you, Kasia, could you just talk a little bit about the process we went through and then turn it over to the chief so he can give us the fire authority's viewpoint on this?
So, we want to make sure that any water that's being taken out of the lake is accounted for. And that we are not overusing that water and that everybody is aware of how that water is taken out and the procedure for it. But we also want to make sure that we are being good partners to our Clear Creek Fire Authority partner, make sure the town and the county is safe from that kind of stuff. So Chief Kelly put together this contract and we reviewed it with staff and the public works staff and Blacktop, yes, and our attorneys, and everybody seems to be comfortable with it, so here we are. There were 2 additional requests that Ryan put in for the measurement system, which is gonna be, we're gonna assume every time you take out of the lake that it's a full tank from the truck, so that's gonna be 2,000 gallons each time they take from the lake, and they also have to give our public works director 24 hours notice ahead of time.
Kelly?
Thanks for considering this. It's a very important part of us taking care of business, and I think, and within the letter that I wrote is, means in the best way for us to get water, we're not taking treated water, so there's no cost there, there's no impact on the water system. This is water that just flows through here rather quickly. And actually I took a cubic feet per second reading this afternoon at 3 o'clock. There's a stream measurement device just up from what we're doing. It was flowing 26.8 gallons or cubic feet per minute, which is equivalent to 200 gallons a second. So if we were to take 2,000 gallons of water today, that would be replaced in 10 seconds, so. There's always water flowing through there that, I think even on that letter that I gave you an example of 15 cubic feet per second, that's typically the low, mainstream flow through there at any point during the year, so. That, 2,000 gallons at that rate would be 17.8 seconds. If the water gets replaced quickly, it really has no effect on anybody, but the accountability is important. It's 2005, we should be doing that with the other incidents. And I don't foresee us ever taking even close to the amount that we requested per liter. The water is used for put it in a 40,000 gallon cistern, nine building in Dumont. And they're able to refill the trucks after doing one fire response throughout the county, so it's a benefit to all citizens of the county.
Thank you. Any questions for Kelly?
Have we considered putting on any restrict, fully support having the water there? I want you to have as much water as you need to have the equipment built. I'm just wondering if in the training situations, if we should restrict any draws if we're in an exceptional or an extreme drought situation. Or look at those numbers of the cubic feet per second or cubic feet per minute. And if it falls below that, just so that you're as good of a neighbor to the entire county as we all want to be in those super dry situations. Colorado's always gonna be in a drought situation, we know that. So, but if we're on that extreme end,
Yeah, obviously, that's your choice as the board. I would say that with the stream flow, even I looked at the study from 2020 or 1995. It's been tracked since then with that stream flow device through today. And the lowest flow through there has been 15 cubic feet per second. So it goes below that, we're on a lot of trouble, and obviously we shouldn't be doing any water, anything, but.
I mean, so would you guys limit your training at that point, you know, and I don't know if you really could.
We could change our training to things that don't use water.
You know, that's all, you know, we want the cistern filled, we want you to be able to fill up the tanker trucks and everything. No matter what.
Yeah.
But just the training piece is the only one, to me, that seems a little bit more subjective, that we could not necessarily take the draw from that if we're under severe or, you know.
Yes, we could train on other subject matter.
So that was my only reservation. Otherwise, you can follow. Not all of it, almost all the water.
Well, if they need to put out fires, maybe all.
Fair.
Okay, I'll move to approve the Clear Creek Fire Authority lake usage IGA.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That passes. Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Really
Thank you, Chief.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you
Thanks,
for being
guys.
here. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Kelly.
And thank you, Keisha.
Thanks, but
Agenda with me.
No.
I could follow
Uh-oh, now we don't want time is. So the next action item is the support, a letter of support for the county's application for safe streets and roads for all. And Dennis, I'm assuming this is you.
Yes, we heard from Colton at the mayors and commissioners meeting that the county was intending to send this grant application in. And they asked the municipalities to send letters of support for this so that when the grant application was approved, all municipalities that signed on at the beginning could then take advantage of that grant application by receiving funding through separate projects that would be safety oriented for other road projects that they had in the making coming up in the future, so that everybody can apply for safety grants individually going forward and then kind of split up the money into different entities. So we put together this letter of support with a lot of help from the county. Colton basically wrote the letters for everybody, and we just changed a few words. And so with your approval this evening to participate and show our support, Georgetown, with the county's effort in this way, then the police judge can sign on behalf of the town.
Any comments or questions on that? Is there a motion to support? I'm sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
No, you're good. I saw the letter, but I didn't know if there, yeah, never mind.
You're good?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
I'll move to approve I'll move that Board of Selectmen approve the letter of support and participation in the SS4A planning finance process.
Great, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
I will go first.
Rod
Dwayne,
and Dwayne.
Sarah.
Rod and Dwayne. So thank you. Now we're gonna table the reading of the ordinance. So we will put that off. Next item is the Sheriff IGA extension to go to September 1st. Dennis, did you want to give any color to this?
No, Jerry brought this up at our last meeting about the term. I wish I could say I'm 100% confident this is gonna be the last one, but I doubt it. So, by the time we get to the point where we're considering to extend this, I think we're gonna have a clear picture of the direction that the town's headed. And we'll have probably one more extension to get us to our final solution on police services. That is my prediction, but this evening, we're asking you to predict to extend the current temporary IGA for another 2 months.
I move to approve the amendment to extend the sheriff's IGA to September 1, 2025.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Okay, great. So that is extended. And now in the most, probably the shortest meeting in history. So I do not have a Felicia report at this time. We can go to the Board of Selectmen. Amanda, you want to start?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
had another meeting of the police task force that the focus was on the town option and the inception of a town police department. That was very informative. Dennis, thank you for putting together the data. It was very interesting. And then the only other thing is your Ward 1 selectmen will be doing their SIPs, because Rob is back from his amazing vacation. So we're doing our SIPs with the selectmen on Thursday night at Mountain Mamas at 5 p.m. If not all of you can come, because that would make it a meeting, so some of you can come, especially if you live in Ward 1. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Amanda, we need to do notice for that meeting.
I don't
Didn't it go out? Was it? I was.
we did notice for yours, so we should maybe do notice.
We didn't notice for ours.
Yeah, we
But
should
we were
probably
in
do that.
conjunction with the park,
Just
but I
be
still
safe.
think if we happen to be there.
Yeah,
Got
we
the
probably
detail.
can-
I think so.
so,
Will do.
and then I need to text Jess and ask her to send out a reminder.
Okay. Very good. Wayne.
Not much, just with the housing authority, we're still having meetings every couple of weeks. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we can, get our executive director in. Amy Saxon is finally retiring from the county. So Brian Oshart is taking over her position and chair of the county, or the housing authority, so,
And did you get good candidates for the executive director?
yeah.
Okay.
We have a finalist. We have a finalist. But I think we're still in the 2-week,
Yeah, we haven't formally offered the positions, but
we're still in the 2-week, polling period.
but we did approve, or I think we have a bank account. Did we get that done?
Yes, well, we should have, we had a special meeting to do all the stuff that they asked for.
Right.
So we had to approve the minutes, we had to name the bank signees and approve the minutes. So we had a special meeting to get that done.
We also talked to, we also asked everybody how they felt about the deed restriction management, and it wasn't a formal item on the agenda, so they didn't take any action on it, but the discussion did seem like everybody's, generally comfortable with in the future managing deed restrictions. We're just not quite there yet as far as capacity. We don't really have a structure yet, but it is an item of responsibility that the housing authority would like to be in charge of, so.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I forgot about that, that was a couple of meetings ago, because you weren't at the last meeting.
I think.
The last meeting was within the last meeting of a week ago.
Right.
We actually had 2 meetings in the last week. And we have one Monday.
You building yet? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Sorry, that's
Yeah,
sometime.
we're in Toronto every day. So. If it was up to me, we would be.
I know. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, Rob.
I've been on vacation, so I want you guys to tell me what's going on in my work.
Where'd you go on vacation?
I just wanna know what's going on in my work.
Oh.
No, we had a great time. We had our car, we lost a wallet,
Oh.
got it back.
Excellent.
There's a shark bite, Susan got in a bar fight, it was great.
The chair of the Parks Commission did resign today, so
The what?
the chair of the Parks
Steve?
Commission, Steve resigned today. He's
Oh.
moving, so he's got some things going on.
So Beth's back in charge.
No one is in charge right now. We have two.
Parks.
Yeah, right.
Fountain spring on.
We're
Well, that's-
recruiting now for parks again, so,
Thank you.
Nationwide search.
no, they have to live here, so,
Oh, good.
otherwise Steve would probably stay in the, so.
All
Hey
right,
Kelly,
thank
you wanna be on parks?
Thanks, maybe some other time.
you. Thank you, Alex. Rich, I know you do.
I attended 2 meetings last week. The first one was the, the one that went from fire authority funding to, emergency funding group. And, Commissioner, George Martin put a proposal together to do a mill levy increase for unincorporated Clear Creek County. And the county, speaking to him on Friday, the county actually did, because July 1st is the deadline, to put something on the ballot. So that would be a ballot issue. To raise the property taxes for those in unincorporated Clear Creek County. And I went to the board meeting Wednesday, because I wasn't sure if all the municipalities were gonna be doing the same thing or needed to do the same thing. But Kelly had mentioned that Georgetown probably doesn't need to queue up something yet. And then I met with Georgia and she covered the base with Dennis. And I think we're just gonna see how the county proposal looks out this year. And then see, because we may need for more money, we may have to do a different method. But we're gonna see how that works out for the county this year. And they may add one more mill for the, they hadn't, I don't think they've decided, Kelly, how many mills they're gonna ask for. But they may add a mill levy, 1 mill for the emergency responders also. And that's kind of what it looks like right now.
So are they doing that in replacement of the sales tax proposal that they were doing, or are they going for both?
No sales tax proposal. There's just been, there's a lot of talk about how the sales tax is maxed out or close to that in many of the municipalities in Clear Creek. Where the, mill levy are a lot lower. And you actually, even residents, what you buy, you would pay less with the mill levy. Like, I don't know, $500,000 home, it'd be like $400 or $500. Than if you did get sales tax on all your Amazon stuff and the stuff you purchase in the county. So we'll see where that goes in the future, but we're just gonna, support the tax increase for the unincorporated. Bring that up and that will put our, fire authority in better stead. Won't solve all the problems, but we know it probably needs a combined approach to make that thing work.
Mhm.
And to be able to not only sustain our current level of fire protection, but become even a better place for folks to train, to learn, and to be the best fire authority in the state.
Yep.
Is this just a mill increase that they're putting on the ballot just for the fire authority?
Well, they may add one more mill for the
Emergency
Yeah,
service.
Okay.
So 2 mills total then?
and nothing for the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
That was very
That was
clear
Mhm.
from the county commissioners.
Yep, definitely.
Hey Kelly, are you guys 501c3?
No.
Okay.
We are an authority intergovernmental agreement,
Okay.
so by participants in that. Your contribution. And I can explain that to you anytime, but.
Yeah.
Can't seem to be available for questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Mary,
Nothing.
all right. So town clerk's report, I know Bridget's not here. Are you-
Bridget's not here, but we did issue the liquor and amplified sound permit at police locker today. So we're excited about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I skipped over the town attorney report, sorry. Jerry, did you have?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything, so you're just as well to skip over.
That's a good day, don't you?
I'm happy to have nothing to report.
We also got a business license application for Nigel and Anderson.
That's exciting.
That's interesting.
From Target.
No,
Oh, okay.
Well,
don't scare people like that, Rob.
Yeah, that was cool.
and so town treasurer's report, we don't have Q here.
You, it's
Nothing to report.
but I don't think there's anything specific to report for.
Okay.
So.
Very good. Assistant town administrator's report.
The RFPs for Strauss Park and the fences and Foster's Place were posted last week, so those are out right now and we're collecting bids. We have quite a lot of interest in the fence in particular, so that's exciting. That's another parks update for you, Rob.
Thanks.
I'm working on police task force presentation for Thursday. And I promised you guys a heavy agenda this week, but it's a lot later than we expected, so, but we're gonna be bringing, utility billing at least, probably back in the next meeting. And also want to let you know that the parks meeting for July is moved to the 9th because of the conflict with the 4th of July, so. We move that into the 9th instead of the 3rd, because people are gonna be having a good time with the 3rd, we think, we don't want to go.
Great. Thank you. All right, town administrator, Dennis.
Thank you. I think everybody's aware that we attended the HGI event this past Saturday at the Hamel House, and the town received the recognition for the Strauss Park Restoration Project. And I was thrown out in front of everybody against my will. And none of the board members or the police judge would stand up front. Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Also,
We were there right behind you.
following up on a request from Rich, I met with the Bighorn developers regarding some customer complaints that we were receiving from that board with regard to some mistreatment that they were receiving from some transactions. I think we'll call it that, right? And
You call it
the lack of customer service from that group over there, but that has been resolved. So if you receive those kind of complaints from anybody in the community regarding those developments out there, please pass those to me. Creighton is very good at following up on those. Creighton is very good at following up on those. Also, if you read my email from Friday, there was a blurb in there about the building services project that we have been working on. And I understand in working with Kasia and getting up to speed on a lot of these things, that there was a deadline set for June. But when I reached out to David, he said we had plenty of time and he understood that my coming in as the new person here will need some ramping up. And so he was leaving for a 2-week vacation and said when he got back, we would get together and we would start talking about this. He's very interested in doing Georgetown and Idaho Springs together and having whatever IGA we have say the same thing, so that we're all working on the same page with regard to building services, if we choose to go that route. So just so you know, we're not losing sight of that goal. He still has a January 1 deadline to switch over if we end up going with the county. Under utilities, the lead copper project is about 60% complete. All the pavement patchwork is complete. The manhole sewer line cleaning and jetting work that they have now started is about 33% complete between First and 8th Streets. Town water usage has increased about 30% over the past few weeks, which Ryan is assuring me is normal for this time of year. And that's going to continue through Labor Day. And then today we had a meeting with Haley Aldrich, which was regularly scheduled for them to give us an update. They are on schedule with their work, and they have asked to do a Board of Selectmen meeting update on July 22nd, which is what they're calling their 60% completion presentation, which is about where they're gonna be. They think that they're going to be in ahead of schedule and be done with this phase in about 2 months, which is when you're expecting to hear some of their recommendations on the upgrades that they foresee to our water capacity study. Then we will move into a development of cost phase, which will get to our development fee upgrade, which will then bring us to a conclusion on our moratorium, we hope. So that's all fitting together. Under road and bridges, oh wait, I wanted to talk one more thing. We are working on an RFQ for technical assistance for the XL decommissioning project. If you haven't heard from me, just offhandedly, the hydro team has been working to talk about the bypass work and all of the stuff that's gonna go on the decommissioning project. We, Ryan, Acacia, and I thought it would be best if we had a technical consultant helping us go through all of the plans and the permitting and all of that stuff to sit next to us and tell us that XL is either all wet or they need to do something different. Did you see how I said all wet? And we're hoping it went a lot better in the mirror. But we're hoping that.
Do we laugh now? Oh, that's good.
So, we're hoping that XL will agree to pay for that technical consultant because they'll see the light that this is in their best interest to speed along the process of getting approvals and getting their construction work done quicker. But if they don't, we think we already have it in place that they're required to do that in the permitting process. So we're very excited about this. And this RFQ is gonna go out, and then we're gonna have a couple of bidders, and then we're going to decide on a qualified, that's what Q stands for, not low price, qualified, best qualified bidder, to help us go through that process. Under road and bridges, the team has been working continuously to modify the signage layout on Sixth Street. You haven't seen any barriers out on Brownell. I've mentioned to a couple of you that we went out there one day with the barriers ready to go. And we figured out that the county sheriff can't get through the barriers. They want to get through the barriers from their parking lot. So we have to work that out with them, and they are not happy about us putting barriers there. Also, cars coming, help me out, Kasia, I say west, east, north, south, east, no, west,
Which direction are you?
coming from the lake. That's west.
That's us.
Okay.
Lake driving towards here is south.
Okay, if they're coming this way.
We got it.
I don't like that. If they're coming this way and they need to turn on and go onto Sixth Street, then that barrier would stop that turning movement, which is what we want to happen. So we have a conflicting turning movements that we have to work out before those barriers can be put up.
Is that also part of what Jim's?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and I wanted to say earlier, but Jim and I have been out walking the area. We've met a couple of times. I also have been intrigued by all of his golfing stories. He's a very interesting guy and we've made friends. So yes, that's very true. They've also been out prepping the roads for striping, so you should see striping, and we are gonna do a really good job of communication with the public, so they know when they see roads being blocked off, the stripers are out there doing that work, and they're not gonna be impacted too much.
Which streets are going to be striped?
That's, well, we have to go out and do parking spaces, we have to.
Oh,
go
you're
out and
talking
do-
still Sixth
Yeah,
Street?
yeah, all striping all over town. Street sweeping is already planned for the 4th of July parade prep. I've talked to Kevin about that, so we're getting ready for that. You should have seen them if you were out in that part of town. R&B was out there doing event parking lot prep, moving the milling piles so that we can get more cars in there. And I think that's it for road and bridge. The other thing I wanted to let you know of is that going forward, you're going to see a written summary cover sheet in front of the payables report. So we're gonna try to guess what questions you might have and try to preempt those with further explanations on what's in the payables listing. And then all of our staff reports are gonna be written now so that you can read through what's going to be talked about in the report. And we are going to try to give you as much information ahead of time, so if you have questions, we can follow up with you before the meeting starts, instead of just having a verbal presentation. So With that, any questions on anything I said this evening?
If I get together with you afterwards for email,
Great.
just, yeah. I see, I wrote my email with you.
I have one question, sir. Where are we? I know, so we got the barrier situation, as far as the rest of the signage for Sixth Street, what percentage complete is it?
We're waiting for 3 different types of signs. We're waiting for the 3-hour parking signs. We're waiting for the permanent wrong way signs. We didn't have those in any inventory and we can't get those right away. So if you go out there today, you'll see we've got makeshift wrong way signs that say one way, do not enter, right? And then we'll replace those with permanent wrong way signs. And then we also ordered more stop signs because we're gonna be converting the intersections on 7th to full 4-way at the 3 intersections. Because we have found that traffic is not flowing the way we want to on those intersections. If you have other sign suggestions, or somebody says, hey, like Jim, right? And he took me out to that intersection, he's absolutely right. That intersection, if you're rerouting traffic, Argentine to 7th. If you have somebody coming down 7th and there's another car coming down Argentine, they cannot pass each other at the same time. So
I had a $15,000 auto body bill as a result of that exact thing on my own car. So yeah, I know.
Nobody supports it more than her.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, but even if somebody like Jim says to you, I have a problem with this and that and this, please let me know because we can probably try to address that with signage. And I wanted to also add, anything that Jim is saying to us with emails or at meetings like this is going into our archive of comments. And it's going to the traffic engineer that we have, and it's gonna be included and addressed in that final report at the end of the summer. So you can see if it's a problem that we cannot address, we're gonna have to step back and see if it's worth it for this one-way change to keep it going, so.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So when do we anticipate receiving the signs that have been ordered?
We anticipated having those 2 weeks ago.
And so the update on that shipment would be. Yes,
TBD,
thanks, Bob.
sorry. Sorry, Scooter was down in Denver picking up other signs yesterday and they didn't have a ETA on those. Mickey was down there, when was it, Friday maybe, I think it was.
Last
And-
Wednesday.
Yeah, and he didn't have an ETA on him then either, so we're not too worried about the parking signs, honestly. It's
Right.
the wrong way signs I'm really concerned about, but I think we have that addressed temporarily right now. And you know what, honestly, I've seen the flow there is improving because people are getting used to it. It's the out of towners now that are running me over and, you know, going the wrong way.
I got a question. How long has the road that goes up to the train? Has that always been one way forever?
Like
I
if
mean, it has
you're
been for 10 years.
coming off of Argentine, you mean?
Yeah, Argentine,
Like-
to the train.
Kelly said no.
Oh,
That was made one way at some point many years ago, so the traffic come down and go into town.
yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, I get little local complaints, but then those people would have the same complaints that live up that street. They have to come into town to make the turn, so. I mean, outweigh the good versus the bad, right?
You're talking Loop Drive, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the drive that turns off to
I
there.
don't think many people live.
We
Like,
got 3 or 4 houses up there.
yeah, but they're past the one way,
Well,
so.
but I'm saying though, is if I lived up, I was leaving, I could go straight down to Argentine, I could sneak through on my bike all the time, it's way faster than going all the way down south and come up. So, I mean, I'm just saying, if that could have been, obviously, they had to go through the same things, and maybe there were complaints, and whether people living there or not.
Are you talking about Jim's issue?
Well, it was just, well, yeah, because I mean, anytime something's changed, but do we do it for the greater good? You know, or do we not care? I mean,
He's coming down the other road, right?
Jim's,
Spring Street.
I can show you here.
And he's turning at the sign,
Blind.
on Brownell.
Why
Why
is
does
it-
he wanna go down to Urgent?
Right.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
forced to go around like everybody else, but in every city, if they have a one-way, everybody's forced to go around.
Correct.
No, his is, there's a, I mean, I see.
This road right here used to not be one way, so people, it's not. in the
I feel like it's
house,
been a one way since I've been here, but perhaps I'm mistaken.
It's been a one-way ever since I've been here.
But what I'm saying is that at one point, as Kelly pointed out, it was.
We're just on a roll tonight, aren't you?
Really is.
Practicing right at hero, huh?
So at one point, this was,
It's a day on the cheap, every morning.
Yeah, well, you're awesome.
That's fine.
It's just like, oh boy.
No, I understand, and I'm not, I think that I mean,
Cause if I lived up here, I'd wanna go
Did
straight.
we change that route Kelly, when we started to improve Argentine, or was it prior to that? Do you recall?
It was prior to that, quite a ways back.
I've been here for 10 years and I feel like it's been a one-way since.
We can ask Cindy Neely, our.
I could be wrong.
We can have a story.
No, it has been one
I know.
for 10 years.
Crazy.
Like 12 years ago, though, yesterday.
I know.
People, come on, you get out of here. I know, for heaven's sake.
Seriously.
We're still on the record. We got a couple minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've moved this before, so.
Yeah, we have.
That's
It might be
impressive.
third place.
We're all gonna stand around and talk anyway for a minute.
Any other comments or questions? Pronouncements?
I think once you decide to go with the one way, I think there's probably an electronic barrier that could be, triggered by the sheriff's department, the fire, go up, just like what you do for a train. And I think that if the town does decide that would have that one way, I think that's a possibility, but I wouldn't invest in it until everybody was sure they wanted to go that route.
As the train barriers come down, bump, 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 bump. Everybody drives.
You know, like those things you go over.
The grates,
You're renting your, you rent a car, you go to wrong.
Yes.
I have one more actually legitimate question for our town administrator. I did not, sometimes in this time of year, the road and bridge guys will like dampen down the dirt roads to try to minimize the dust clouds. This happens in certain areas of town because people drive like jackals. That's a nice way of saying it. And so, it happens like about this time of year, and I know they're really busy. It's usually after the 4th. But if that's something that we could potentially put on their radar for, like, the dirt roads.
We get a whole cloud city company. Would be-
Great.
Now I'm emotionally learned.
Second. All right, 6:46, and the motion was made by Amanda, second by Mary. All those in favor of adjourning? Any opposed? Abstained? Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Same one.
We're gonna turn the button forward.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna have that, you know.
Bye, Kelly.
We need. Bye, Kelly. Thank you. Sorry. So Mary, I didn't call you. I know. So maybe we can decide that next.